Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I'm your what was that? I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. If you're ever in trouble in Minnesota, look me up. So with me tonight is my guest, me, because my actual guest is not here. Now, I'm not sure why my actual guest is not here, but he is not. So I do apologize if you are really banking on seeing Andy Warski. I would love to have him on the show. He will still be invited, but I don't think today is going to work. However, I don't need these at the moment. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to cover another subject. I'm not quite sure what it is yet. So you'll have to bear with me a minute. But I am going to leave the Hangouts open. And if Andy is just late, which is fine, then he can pop in to this call and we will resume that interview. We will go from there. For now, looking for, I guess, any suggestions on what you guys might like to see tonight. And we could talk about Mark Wade's GoFundMe. We can talk about Comicsgate. We can talk about whatever. No, don't scream at Warski on Twitter. I have sent him DMs, giving him the information. So if he sees it, hopefully he will pop on. Otherwise, let's talk. Internet Bill of Rights. That's an interesting subject. Trying to think. There's some talk about Mr. Medicare. What do you want me to talk about with Mr. Medicare? Will you interview yourself? I can interview myself. Can't see Scalia. Yeah, it's the problem is hold on. This what is this stuff? This glare on the window. See, you can see me. That's awkward. Oh well, whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I live apparently in the same state as Medicare, although I'm not sure if he actually still lives in this state. It seems, according to his docs, that he did live in this state at one time or another, but I don't know if he still does. I've never been in contact with Medicare outside of very minor Twitter interactions. Is my camera mirrored today? That's the Google Hangouts. Interestingly enough, this is the reality. This is the real view. The OBS camera is flipped, but the Google Hangouts camera gets it right. My whiskey is actually over here. And Scalia is actually over there. So let's, there are 2 super chats. Let me address those real quick, and then we'll figure something out. I've never... The Radiohead versus Lana Del Rey, I don't even know how that is going or turned out. I have no idea. Talk about Lawrence versus Texas. My lips are very red because it's dry. They're dry. Minnesota gets cold and dry. Okay, so just a second. Let me get mildly out of sorts, right? That's how things go when your plans don't work. Lucifer Love Monkey for $5 says, doubt I'll make it, but look forward to watching later. Cormoran says, Wade started a GoFundMe for Meyer. He gonna lose. He did start a GoFundMe for Meyer. You know, okay, so there's some misconceptions. You know what we need? Well, I don't know if you need it, but I do. We need some Japanese whiskey. Let's see here. So what I'm probably going to do, I'm going to have to figure out how to get this all transitioned over. Bagel Goose for asking about your lips. And No Potato says money for being cool on the internet. Thank you. Thank you so much. Just a moment. Oh, that's good. Okay. So let's check. Let's start flipping the narrative that we had going, which was an Andy Warski interview. Here's what I'm going to do. Let me talk briefly about the Andy Warski stuff, okay? The Andy Warski stuff based on what I know and what I've seen, which is not complete. I was intentionally not doing the deepest possible research on this stuff because I wanted to hear it from Andy as if Andy were coming into my office to talk to me about something. So I was going to ask him similar questions to person either calls me up and sets an appointment or person walks in off the street and says, hey buddy, I got a problem. Can you help me? So that was the plan. So I'm going to talk, I guess, just to kind of clear up what I've got about the Andy Warski versus Tonka situation, and then we'll move on to a different subject. All right. So bear with me if I don't have all of the facts. I listened to a good chunk of the stream with Kraut. However, he had not gotten to the juiciest details. So here's my understanding. Repercussions for Me Too liars. Who are you kidding, buddy? There are no repercussions for lying about Me Too. They do it all the time. They lie about it all the time, and no one ever does anything. So, here's where I'm at on the Warski leaks. And you guys can throw any sort of information you want at me, but what I understand is that somebody, not Tonka, but somebody made a set of fake Snapchat screenshots to imply or to make it look directly like Andy Warski was sending illicit, sexually explicit messages with what someone claimed the fake, I guess the fake other person was supposedly a 17-year-old boy in Texas, if I understand right, okay? So, Leodara, correct. He is currently not on the line, but he could pop in at any time, or he could not. I don't know. We're moving on, though. We're moving on. So, and it's very possible, like, I'm not mad at Andy or anything like that. It's very possible that our idea of what I mentioned for the time was a disconnect. So that's possible. No idea what's wrong at the moment, but who knows? Who knows? Okay. So my understanding is that someone created some allegedly fake Snapchats, and then various people, one of them being Tonka, distributed these screenshots with some knowledge that they were not true. Okay? That's where I'm at on that. So we're going to run with that premise. Now, I know people have different opinions about, I see someone saying it's not been proven that they're faked. That may be true. I don't know. Again, we're going with this idea. All right. So here's some issues. Andy is Canadian. All right. I can't really comment on Canadian defamation laws. However, what I will say is Canada does not have First Amendment protections like the US does. So their defamation laws are similar. Their defenses are weaker. However, Tonka is not Canadian, does not live in Canada. And so it would be harder for Canada to exercise jurisdiction over Tonka. Okay, so let's get that out there. As long as Tonka never travels to Canada, it's going to be very hard for them to haul him into court for a non-criminal offense. It's going to be very hard for them to get control over any assets he might have. So suing Tonka in Canada, probably not the best choice. Alizmat Film says Road Warrior Drake is coming with Comicsgate Second Wave Spring 2019. Cleaning the streets of spark pluggers and the bloody shadow of the crimson. Cool. That sounds cool. Catch you later, biggest dickhead. All right. So Canada is probably out. Now that does not mean that Andy Warski is out of options for a lawsuit. Andy Warski could certainly bring a lawsuit within the United States against Tonka. Now my understanding is that Tonka lives in Alabama. I've heard Florida, I've heard Alabama. From what I've heard, though, he represents himself as living in Florida, but actually lives in Alabama. Either way, doesn't really matter. We can go with both. Wherever Tonka lives, and I'm going to assume that Andy knows the true address or residence of Tonka, because of their previous working relationship. Wherever Tonka lives, Andy would file, probably easiest for him to file in that state. That state is going to have the easiest jurisdiction over him. However, he will file in federal court in that state, and he will allege $75,000 or more in damages, exclusive of costs. You see this in any of the federal diversity jurisdiction cases, but that's what Andy would probably do. Okay, so when he does that, he will be filing for, I suppose it'd be libel. It's kind of weird, like the idea that you're knowingly making a false publication, because that's what happened here. Again, assuming this set of facts. He's coming. Okay, cool. When he shows up, we'll chat. So for now, assuming this set of facts, and Andy may be able to clear this stuff up if he is coming. Awesome. Looking forward to it. Assuming this set of facts, he would bring lawsuit in district court in that state, and then he would be under the U.S. defamation laws. It would be libel because it's a published statement, even though it's like a faked screenshot. So the things he'd have to... Oh, hold on. Hold on, buddy. Just a second. Nice. Yeah, man, no worries. No worries. Hey, Good, buddy. No, and no worries. I figured either something like that happened, or maybe I like miscommunicated the time, and not a problem at all. I was actually just talking about my understanding of the Tonka stuff, but we can get to that in a little bit. Tell me, so you did a 6-hour stream earlier today. Oh wait, you're hold on. You're muted to them. Let me get that. Okay, I think you're fixed now. Now it was my fault.
Jokes, guys. Like seriously, I was killing it.
Yeah, I'm dying. No, so let's talk about it though. So you did a 6-hour stream. You challenged a bunch of people to fights. I have also done this, but I want to know about your challenges. Who have you challenged?
Okay, well, I mean, half of them were just blackout rage, drunk type. I'll fight you because, like, here's the thing: is Tonka, when he challenged me, I knew he didn't want to actually fight. Because he's, challenged, 80 people or whatever throughout the past year or so. And everyone always says no. And he has changed the stipulations about, I think, 11 times over the last 2 or 3 days. He keeps changing it to make it more difficult for me to want to do it. And what I played today, like the climax of the stream today was a audio recording I had last night of failure because I don't trust him anymore. And thank God I didn't trust him because him and Tonka had planned something to make me not want to do the fight. So they said, you aren't going to make, they're not paying for your hotel. They're not paying for your food. They're not paying for your flight. And they keep all your super chats while there. So I would lose $2,800 on the entire trip, right?
Yeah.
And I would also not be able to make profit, at least to pay back the $2,800 I would lose through super chats, right?
So who's going to take your super chats?
They said it was the house. Like they said it was, which that's when I was like, this seems suspicious, right? Like,
right, yeah.
Because then a failure was like, but here's what we could do: have Tonka set up the fight. And then you both split the gate, you both split the super, all that stuff, right? And then so I hung up with him, and then everything started to click, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right. This does not feel right. And I was talking to Tara at the same time as well, and I call him back immediately and go, no, I want to do it because I knew what Tonka was trying to do, was trying to push the fight to a later date, maybe like summer. And maybe everyone would forget about it and all that type of stuff, right? And his main mission was to make me go, no, I don't want to fight, and then go like he's a coward. And
right? Yeah, you're a giant pussy because you don't want to come on and throw hands for real.
Exactly. And luckily, I was like, no. So what I was trying to do was I was like, fine, you know what? I'll take those stipulations. And I'll raise money on GoFundMe for the plane ticket and the hotel stay.
Sure.
And just like I predicted, I called Ralph in the morning, I explained everything. He's like, I don't think that sounds right. And then what happened was I said to Ralph, I'm like, I bet you what he's going to do. He's going to post the GoFundMe and go, look, and he just wants money. And sure enough, he did that. And then I deleted the GoFundMe because it was only for 5 minutes. I was just trying to bait him into doing that, which is all I needed to connect everything that he had said, that these two had said, that contradicted what Tara said, to show that they're liars. Because they just keep lying to make me more. He's like, I just want to fight you. I'm like, all right, I'll fly to Florida tomorrow. Let's just fight right now. No, because if I give you my address, you're trying to dox me. Okay, I'll meet you at a park. This sounds like a threat. Okay, I'll pay for your security guard to protect you from me from going too far. Then he ignored that one. It's just stupid. He's so scared because we watched his actual wrestling videos. And he stinks. And people think I don't have any fighting experience. I have actual fight experience, like bar brawls, some pretty sketchy stuff I've done, like actual real fights. And he hasn't. he hasn't been beat up yet. That's the problem.
Sure.
A person who's been beat up knows you have to watch who you talk to, man. Like he hasn't had that experience. Once he's got my knuckles breaking his nose, then he'll be like, okay, now I have to watch how I talk to people.
What's it's the Mike Tyson thing. Everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the face, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's so funny. Like they thought everything that they've said in the past year or two has been lies. So I'm like, I was trying to keep like the moral high ground or whatever, not record them. And I'm like, no, these guys throw me under the bus every time. Luckily here in Ontario, as you may know, we have a 1% consent to knowing they're being recorded law. So only one person needs to know. So I recorded everything and released everything. I don't care. And I also heard that Failure was also saying some other lies that I won't really go too deep into. That was more of a personal relationship thing that he was pushing with Tonka. So that was enough for me to be like, okay, Failure, you're done with me.
So yeah, okay. So let me do this real quick. First, there's a couple super chats that I want to hit, and then I want to kind of introduce this because some people on my stream might not be familiar with you so much, and this sort of drama. So I want to hit these super chats. We'll do a quick introduction, and then we'll start talking about where all this kind of started. So Tillip, he's the guy who does my thumbnails. He says, "What is Andy's favorite Death Grips track? Do you listen to Death Grips?"
No, I have not.
Okay, so none of them are your favorite.
Yeah.
Gaston Heaps asks, Andy, can you help Nick get Styx on his show? I think he's referring to Styx Hexenhammer.
Nick who?
Me, Nick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. My bad. I thought I was just thinking his name Rekieta Law. I just met you.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, 100%. I will do that for you.
Yeah, awesome. Doug Wade says, Nick, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you enjoy having Andy as a client? Pretty much a 10. Because you deal with boring clients and you deal with exciting clients, and the process is similar, but it's always interesting having someone who's fun to talk to and can actually make a story worth listening to. So you and I don't really know each other. So let me introduce myself. Rekieta Law. I'm a lawyer in Minnesota, kind of just a small town lawyer, and lately, I've just been commenting on all the various legal drama on YouTube. So I came on your live stream the other day, just quickly asked if you would come on my show, and you said yes, which I really appreciate. But I think we were also briefly on the Kill stream together, but I wasn't talking much because I kind of came in the middle during I think that was the Heal stream.
Yes,
I think you were on for a little bit, and I came in kind of at the end of that. So, but you are a YouTube guy. You've been doing this for a while, but can you give me a little bit of your background? So, because I'm new to a lot of this drama and these personalities. I've seen your name for a long time, but yeah, can you introduce yourselves to me and the audience? That'd be great.
Sure. Yeah. So obviously Andy Warski, been doing this for about 13 years, 12 years, pretty much like early days of YouTube. I didn't plan to really make videos at all. I was trying to be in school for 3D modeling for animation and stuff, but then
Sure.
I had a really severe speech impediment that I went to speech pathology. I had speech pathology for. It got better and better, and I'm like at the end of that, and it got, I was able to speak. I loved stand up, so I'm like, I'm gonna try to do the hardest thing a stutterer could ever do, is go in front of people and try to make them laugh. I fell in love with it, and then when YouTube came out, I would practice my material in front of the camera, sort of like a rant style, and then the comments that were like, I like that joke or that joke, I would bring that to the stage. But then, as YouTube grew past the stand-up, like I'm like, why perform on one night, like in front of 50 people, or I could make a video, 500 people watch it. I started doing that more, and then I was, I got the partnership, the early YouTube partnership before it was easier to monetize, because it's very difficult to monetize back in the day. Then I sort of switched styles, went from like reviewing, prank videos and making fun of them, and mostly like that roast type comedy, until I joined I was very interested in the the skeptic type crowd, so bashing and BLM and all that stuff. I was very early on to those days. And then I think after the VidCon, 2017, it got kind of stale because it was the same shit over and over and over. Okay, we get it, feminism, da 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 da, right? So I wanted to explore, and I ended up being part of the whole Kilroy thing, and then finding out that they were using certain people on the right as promotion and then kicking them off. And the skeptics always defended each other, but I couldn't really, even though a lot of them were my friends, and they're like, Andy, stop drama, stop talking about it. I'm like, no, I'm gonna expose this shit. I end up exposing it, and exposing the Kraut, the first Kraut server, which is ironic that he tried to attack me a second time and I destroyed him a second time. Nice try, buddy. And I met JF. We did those those edgy streams that were introducing the alt-right versus the liberals and stuff, the Richard Spencer versus Sargon, all that type of stuff. And then I want to be more of I want to go back. I'm in the style of more of like a radio, having fun, hit some dark topics once in a while, but the politic thing over and over and over just gets dry.
Yeah,
and now
absolutely.
That's what we have. Yeah, so I end up I'm sure you heard, I end up going a bit crazy and
I heard something about it. Let's see. So let me tell you, the first time I heard about you was actually it was kind of this weird sort of chain of events, but this was when Medicare was ripping up Baked Alaska on Ice Poseidon stream. Think because I've not been in this like the internet blood sports community or anything like that, except by periphery, and that's only started in the past year or so that I've kind of come into that through the Dick Show generally. But so I'm watching this video of Medicare calling into Ice Poseidon show to rip up Baked Alaska, and I keep hearing Andy Warski, and then I hear that you're like a streamer, and then I hear that you kind of quit YouTube, and you quit for quite a while, right?
Yeah, I'd say about almost 3 months, because I didn't quit. I needed to refocus and figure out what I wanted to do. I did 2 relaunches that bombed horribly. I was trying to sort of like look in the rear view mirror and try to remake some magic that I used to have, and it just wasn't happening. And me and my buddy Geek Thulu, who's my co-host now, and we bounce off each other amazingly.
Right.
He ended up Tonka ended up actually framing him. Vam Candy and Tonka both framed Geek Thulu because Geek Thulu knew that Tonka offered someone $1,000 for someone called Zeph's Docs.
Right.
Geek Thulu knew about this, and he's like, "Yo, dude, don't do that shit. Don't do that." So he's like, "Okay, I won't." The next week, he ended up doing it anyway. And with Geek Thulu knowing, Tonka ended up making Geek Thulu look like a horrible person through many means, like anything, making him look like he had a pedo server, like a child play server, and like a doxing server, and people believed it. And obviously Geek Thulu showed me all this evidence, but it was very difficult for him to prove it. And only recently, when my credibility came back, when I was just trying to do what I wanted to do, and I was open with everything that had happened, the first few episodes, people were uncomfortable with Geek being there, but I was able to actually expose what Tonka had done to him, which actually was the beginning of the arc of what happened now, where they used information from people who are known for making fake DMs, messages, bomb threats, swatting. And he even told me, Tonka said, don't ever hang out with those people. Don't ever. And because Tonka was pissed off that I started screaming over his time slot, I did that because Tonka has drugged me through the mud. I like that time slot. You don't own that time slot. And then that came out. They were actually trying to catfish me into sending dick pics to some random chick, but I didn't, obviously. I didn't buy into that. In fact, one of them, I'm like, take a picture like doing the OK symbol. And then like the account was deleted. Instagram was deleted through being flagged. So with Snapchat, I had no evidence to defend myself. So what did I do? I stayed up for like 3 nights straight looking for little clues. And I ended up coming up with circumstantial evidence, a story that actually made a lot of sense. And I went to Ralph's stream.
Yeah, this is just a couple days ago, right? You went to Ralph's stream
Last week, yeah.
And you start telling this story, and then everybody thinks you're nuts.
Yeah, and yeah, but everyone's like, it's okay, and yeah, okay, that makes sense. And what happened was that story actually got Rory, the one who leaked all the information to me. He messaged me. He's like, yo, I did all this bad stuff, which I forgive him for, because I've been in, situations where you're stuck in a circle of people who are just trying to, like, and you're sort of brainwashed. And he gave me that leak, that 2-hour and 49-minute leak that cleared my name from the 6 months of me spurting and yelling and going. Everyone was like, oh, he was right the whole time. Shit.
So I started listening to that. I got about let's see, a little over halfway through, but I just haven't had time because you don't know anything about me. I have 5 kids, so all of my listening that involves any sort of profanity or anything has to be done like while I'm driving. And I just happened to have a lot of driving to do the other day, so I was able to listen to a bunch of the stream, but I didn't get all of it. So I do want to ask some questions about kind of the Snapchat stuff, this Tonka stuff, because like from what I've seen and kind of pieced together, it looks pretty serious. Like someone was really trying to just wreck your reputation completely. So let me hit a couple of these super chats quick. IT Weeb says, who sent you the whiskey? Nick, confess your sins. That whiskey, this bottle right here, is from my dead grandfather, who was a whiskey drinker, and it is very good. It's a Suntory Royal from Japan, and I'm about to go to a Whistle Pig in a little bit, which is a rye whiskey. Andy, you said you were drinking earlier. What do you drink, buddy? Oh, you must have...
Sorry, my mic sometimes conks out. My bad. Stella, I have some Stella tall cans.
Oh, sure.
But for hard liquor, I got Crown Royal.
Oh,
whiskey.
Yeah, Crown's good.
Yeah. But I drink a lot of stuff. I'm not too picky.
Right. So David Duplantier says, Internet Blood Sports is dead. Long live Internet Blood Sports. And then True American Hero says, do you still sleep with your female clients? Well worded, True American Hero. I have never slept with a female client and would not do so. I would risk my law license doing that. So, unless I was representing my wife, of course, that would be a different story. But no. Okay, so I'm listening to this thing. Now, Let me ask you about the Snapchats in particular.
Sure.
Because this is where like the legal aspect seems to kind of rear its ugly head. So are the Snapchat images, are those like photoshopped images, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, well, you can actually a few people were able to recreate different people's Snapchats by changing the number.
Right.
There's programs that you could actually use, Snapchat RZ. Also, you could use After Effects. My Snapchat was public. I always said hi to fans and all that stuff, but I was never stupid, and I'm not going to write stupid shit like that. I imagine as anything I write to people will be leaked online. That's what I always assume, no matter who I'm talking to.
Right. Yeah.
Also, when Sinead and I are like, we're broken up for a month and a half, I could bang like chicks. Like, I'm not gonna, oh fuck, okay, you know what, I'll go for a 50. It's ridiculous. And then it was like the 17, and then it was like really ridiculous stuff. But it's easy to actually manipulate that. In fact, Zoom, who's the one who went on Ralph Retort?
Yeah, I sort of know who Zoom is.
He's done some pretty intense stuff. He actually phoned me the other day and he apologized because he thought it was very hard to manipulate. And then he's like, right after that, he's like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. It was easy to manipulate that. But the guy who was, like releasing this guy has done stuff with like his friends before. They've actually tried framing someone for child porn, fakes from someone else to get them off the internet. All this type of stuff, right? And
yeah,
his name was Anal Vape. Anal Vape was pissed at me, or is, because I banned him because he does this stupid shit. And apparently Zoom told me for 2 months, he's like, Anal Vape, it was just talking about you for 2 months. 2 months. But the thing is, no one trusted Anal Vape at all. Everyone thought, because he's a scumbag, right?
Right.
He has these crazy ops and all this stupid shit, right? Now, Tonka and I have this really bad relationship, toxic relationship from like the past. When I bashed Tonka in like that 3-hour stream, the 2-part, 6-hour in total stream, that's when I got actually someone leaked information to me that Tonka was working with Anal Vape. But Tonka hated Anal Vape because he did some sketchy stuff to Tonka. So why is Tonka, and he'd be like, don't ever believe anything he gives you. He's always bullshit, this and that. But what happened was Tonka, as you know right now, his rage is so, like, he's seeing red right now, that Anal Vape found the perfect opportunity to give these to Tonka, and Tonka didn't give a shit who it came from, just bury Andy. In fact, when people started going, this is fake, he's like, well, I'm not accusing him of anything. I was just quoting. And now his new third story is that I was just joking around. And now today his new story is, no, they're real. He's an idiot. Because the thing is, I'm catching him at all fronts. He's just a really stupid guy. He doesn't think 4 steps ahead. So yeah, being accused of that's what actually sent to me. If that hadn't ever happened, see, they're trying to take out Medicare. That's the main guy they're trying to take out. And also Ralph, because they're the 2 biggest guys in sort of this. But they didn't expect me to grow out of nowhere and just, so I was in their way. So they had to do something drastic, which is like ruin my credibility. You even hear in the audio leak, like Tonka's like, we have to make their fans embarrassed to be subscribed to them.
Right. And the way you do that right now is pedophilia. Like that's the go-to.
Tonka has, everyone that has disagreed with Tonka is a pedophile. There's one guy, Carrie, his name's Carrie. There was actually a folder we found in one of the leaks. He knew that Carrie was innocent of child porn, and he still did an episode on Carrie being a pedophile.
Sure.
So he didn't care. He will use evidence, whether it's fake, real, if it's out of context, or in the wrong timeline, and he'll do it.
That kind of happened to you as well with Thomas Ellingson, right? Like you had come out and kind of debunked the Snapchat leaks, and then he did a stream that basically said, Andy Warski a pedophile, right? Like that happened the other day. Am I remembering that correctly? Oh, he defended you.
He defended. Yeah, everyone. No, I was bashing him for the fucking title he used. Okay. Andy, the kitty diddler. I'm like, you could have been a little bit more light on that. If you're defending me, maybe you want to tone that down a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. But
they all defended me. Yeah, they all defended me on that stream.
Okay, so yeah, I'd heard about the title, or I think I saw like a Twitter exchange about the title or something. But okay, so it's good. That's good that he ended up backing you up, because I was gonna say, because the part of this whole thing is like you're a fairly popular YouTuber. You have a pretty big audience. So the question in like U.S. defamation cases would be, is this person a public figure or are they a private figure? And when you're out there on the internet and I think you have something like 150,000, 200,000, something like that.
Yeah, about 250.
Okay, so yeah, 250,000 subscribers. I think that pretty much these days qualifies you as a public figure. So then when someone says a lie about you, they have to know that it's a lie. They have to know that it's not true. So that, yeah, I was wondering about the Thomas Ellington thing. Is like, man, if he knew it was wrong but still ran with the story, that's not a good thing. But so
he defended me, but Tonka sort of uses that. I was just joking around, LOL. So he sort of here's the problem: is these guys, they always, how journalists will get away with, they'll call someone a pedophile by being like, I'm just saying he was around the kids at this time. What do you think? Sort of like
yeah.
I think that's actually defamation, right? So Tonka will have that middle ground of like, I put quotations there, so I was quoting it.
Yeah, but he shared the tweets though, like, or the Snapchats, and
Yes.
you're saying he knew they were false because he got them from Anal Vape.
Well, again, maybe he was so angry that he didn't even think
Oh, okay,
that
okay,
like he was just like, okay, these are real. Like, sometimes people want to just believe. Like,
right,
I've been tricked with some fake, evidence, and I'm like, look at this, and my friend's like, come on, man. Like, I mean, look at the time, and then you go,
sure,
oh, he got it, and then he blamed it on Rari, the guy who leaked everything, right?
right,
And he went, well, Rari gave me the leaks, right? But I actually got sent screenshots that Tonka deleted of him receiving the those fake snaps the night before. So he's lying in that regard. He's literally have been caught in so many lies that I don't know how he could even that's why he's imploding, basically. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, you can't just keep up with lies. It's too exhausting. You got to keep track of everything. Your story's going to change, and eventually you're going to slip. Like that's just how it goes. That's why you basically just tell the truth. That's what I always tell my clients. It's like, you know what, just tell the truth.
Mm.
We'll find a way to defend you. Just tell the truth, because if you lie and we get caught in it, then we're in real trouble. It's amazing how much that sounds like talking to my own kids.
Yeah.
But okay, so yeah, I was mistaken then. I thought that you were saying that Tonka knew for sure that these were faked, but you're actually being more charitable to him than a lot of people would in this situation. You're saying you don't know if he knew they were faked or not at this point. You're just saying that he didn't vet it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. Because Anal Babe he knows how Tonka reacts to things. He's a psychopath, right? A psychotic sociopath. He sort of has these mental issues that, to the point where, if he hates someone, you could toss him something, and he'll be, yeah, okay, here you go, boom, and he'll post it immediately. So that's his issue, and that's why he backpedaled. Oh, I was just joking around. But he didn't. I can't say for sure that he knew it. Some people are like, what if Tonka paid the guy? What if he did? I don't have any evidence of that. What I can say though is that he knows that Anal Vape is the least reliable source of information you can get. He was trying to warn me of Anal Vape, so that was my sort of line of thinking that I wanted people to follow was,
Right.
why would he do this? Why would he work with this person? Why would he work with Kraut and T knowing that he was doing these things? He is in it for himself. The problem is, all these guys have been destroyed. Like David Sharat, no one really likes him. Kraut was destroyed by me and Co. And Medicare did the final nuking. And then who else was it? Tonka. He just imploded slowly, and he drugged me through the mud. Thought he was better than me, I started streaming over him. I ruined his show. So basically, everyone I had pretty much destroyed over the past year, and not even fully their channels, but maybe made a video about them or trashed them. We're all working together, and they think I'm some sort of idiot. They didn't expect me to actually dig into information. Because I that claim that pedophilia is, even if 1% of people believe it, it still pisses me off.
Right, absolutely, because it's a huge claim. It's because that's what's getting people shut down. Well, that and the hashtag racism thing, but it's like if you're accused of pedophilia or being involved with a minor, one, it might be criminal. There might be criminal charges that could be filed. I'm not familiar with Canada's laws on that type of stuff, but I would find Canada's laws to be a little more strict than the U.S. on most of this stuff. Two, there are potentially U.S. law violations for the screenshots that they created. So certainly don't want anyone believing that. And then 3, like, you could get deplatformed from YouTube or Patreon or any number of things if they think that you're like engaged in some sort of illegal activity.
Even though if none of those happen, the 4th thing would be, even if nothing legal or like deplatforming happened, it leaves a stain on your reputation. Like always, like the thing in the back of people's mind, like, did he do it? You know what I mean? So that's also a thing, because it's so easy for me to take a make a fake screenshot and After Effects it, post it, not go through follow up with any of it with police or this or that, but it will always get a certain percentage of this of a certain person's audience who released whatever it was to look at that person with suspicious eyes.
Right, absolutely, because that's and maybe you want to talk about this, maybe not. That's kind of an interesting aspect of being a YouTube personality, is that you work really hard to build up a credibility with your audience, and they come to trust the information that you put out. Similar to, and it doesn't matter who it is, that credibility means something. So then when someone were to, if someone were to try and cash that check, but to do it in a negative way, they really could actually kind of, at least for a while, convince their audience that someone else was guilty of something because they've spent so much time harvesting that credibility.
Yeah. It's so easy for someone to have their lives ruined with a suggestion, a fake screenshot, anything. And that's why, like, I really feel for the people who have been, like, seen as guilty for these things when the evidence is so flimsy or something that you could, I mean, you can't. Zoom told me he phoned the police and everything, and the police were like, they were looking through it, and they're like, like the other whatever analysis people, and they're like, we get these all the time. These are like literally dime a dozen. It needs to be like, there's nothing. This means nothing to us, and because the thing is, especially when you're looking at someone on YouTube, the amount of times people have tried messing with me, like with certain aspects of my life. I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but the police are more careful with someone who's more of like a public figure, especially, like with doxing or swatting or any of that stuff.
Yeah, because public figures are going to be bigger targets for stuff like this, because they're at some point they're going to piss somebody off, and do that. So,
and I piss people off a lot. That's my thing.
Yeah, that's how you run your business. You said you were trying to get more into the have fun radio sort of style, and forgive me for making this comparison maybe, but I'm getting like the sense that you enjoy sort of the shock jock or like a Howard Stern type approach, where you have kind of I hate the word edgy, but we'll say an edgy sort of take on current events and stuff like that, and that's gonna make people mad. I mean, that's part of the point. Yeah,
definitely. That's the thing, is I've been through like the ringer with so many different things, so many like things that you piss someone off, and everyone has a different attack style. But I always have, again, I'm very methodical with how I defend myself. For example, all that evidence that was dropped on that really long stream that cleared my name, that took a long time to gather, and it had to be in chronological order. I had to have everything prepared, not only the audio leaks, but in the succession I released every picture, the days I released them, the times I released the audio, and what I did after that all have to be done properly, because if I put too much out in one shot, I might lose information I can gather later. But if I don't put enough, it might get them ready for playing that 4D chess, being 2 steps ahead of you.
Right. Okay, so far, catch me up here on what you have presented. You've got the 6 hour stream, which is you going through the phone call and pausing to add context, and that's most of what. Like I said, I've seen over half of that. I do plan on finishing it, but I just haven't had time this week to do so.
There's lore behind it. That's the thing, is there's a lot of lore. When you look into the anime mafia, the in between my channel being dead, the purple dragon, and then them being part of my channel, the Kumite being part of them. Anal Vape had a situation where a 16-year-old girl was actually 15. The same thing happened to him. There's been like fake girls doing like watching child porn with Zoom. There's been this lore. It's like one of these things where if any random person just were to watch one random video, they'd be like, where do I start?
Right. So and that's where my life is right now.
Yeah. So for me to collect everything, like everyone who's been following this, it's like a soap opera, man. Like anyone who's been following it goes, oh, and then it's sort of like this rabbit hole you go into, that's actually really intense, and people forget like about the rabbit hole. They see what's on the surface, so I have to sort of go like, okay, I have to be up till 8 a.m. now, like dig in this rabbit hole, do it for like 3 days. Like in succession, that I release everything, and then you have to vet everything. You know, when I released a lot of the information, I started getting a lot more information that I could tell was fake. So you have to check the dates of when the Twitter profiles were created that sent you that. You have to go into all their profiles, make sure it's not like created recently. There's even people like they've been planning things for a long time, but they weren't planning it on me. They were going to take Ralph and Medicare down. But everything was so rush job for me. It wasn't methodical because I just came out of nowhere. So yeah, and Tonka really hated me, and he just wanted to. He should have, if he wanted to really destroy me, he should have like kept going with whatever secret op he was. But he blew his load too quick. I don't want to like tell people like how to scam people or hurt people.
Right.
But like. It's like a heist. You don't just, all right, I got my gun. I know the money's in there. Go. No, you have to have the blueprints. You have to have this. You have to have it methodical. And he's not a methodical guy. That's why he lost everything. Neither is Kraut. That's why I'm constantly, they keep tripping over there. And they actually opened up a bigger case in all of this of other things that are still behind the scenes from other YouTubers that is actually can't be presented as evidence on Tonka's side because now the credibility is dead, and it was very similar to what happened to me. And now it's actually opened up a case of who got Medicare's docs.
Right.
Did Sargon pay? There's like things I'm still digging into, and we're building this puzzle, but we're not ready to release it yet.
Yeah, there's some allegation that I think I heard that someone paid like $2,000 for Sargon or for Jim's docs or whatever.
Yes. Rory was actually offered that, but then there's other pieces of information that I cannot release quite this moment that actually build the story even more. But here's the problem: is even if I build it to a level where I feel comfortable that hey, look, this is good, I still can't release it because then what you do is you close the valve off to potential new information that comes out.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to burn your source too early.
Exactly. So it's I'll say right now, man, it's pretty fun being trying to like dig in and like find. It's like you're finding this. It feels like you're like an investigator. It's really cool. I enjoy it. A lot of people are like, damn. Everyone really underestimated Andy. Yeah.
So Failure is actually in the chat here.
Okay.
And he's saying that you're a liar, that you call him a scam artist and never proved a thing, and he's asking me to ask you to provide context to that claim.
Here's what I said. I think they are scamming me. So shut up, Failure. That's it. And I provided my evidence. Everyone went, oh. And Tara La Rosa was able to put context to show that Failure and Tonka were lying about the fight to scare me. Even she was like, what the hell? And I have the audio. So while Failure might have not scammed, he's working with Tonka because he knows Tonka can't fight me because Tonka has a broken neck and he'd embarrass himself. So he was working with Tonka to try to get me to decline the fight. And I have the DMs. Tara La Rosa came in. We heard the audio that I recorded last night. And Failure is definitely working with Tonka, something behind the scenes. I'm not saying it's a scam. At first I thought it was a scam, right? That's why I think he's working with a scam here. And then at the end of it, I'm like, okay, there's not a scam. I don't have evidence that it's a scam, but he's definitely he's troll shielding. They call it troll shielding Tonka. Now, there's also the reason I recorded Failure last night was right before I talked to him about the fight, right? Right before I talked to him, I had heard from many people, a few sources, that Failure had actually been in a lot of the calls with Tonka, and Tonka telling people that when Sinead and I broke up for a year and a half, sorry, a month and a half. Jesus Christ, sorry, a month and a half.
Right, big difference.
Yeah, exactly. Tonka was saying that she was having sex with other guys, which is not what happened. And Failure didn't defend the claim. He didn't go. He didn't go. No, that's not what happened. Failure was my friend. I vented to him during that situation. So he knows everything, but he still didn't defend me when the time came to it. I don't know if he's scared of Tonka. He always goes, like, the audio I have is him going, you're going to not, the super chats have to go to the actual place. You don't get hotel. You don't get this. You don't get that. And Tara La Rosa's like, no one talked to them. No one said that. So they were trying to come up with a plan that Tonka was able to actually set up the fight because Tonka wants to push it forward or make people forget about it because he's scared because he never thought someone would actually call his bluff. That's the whole story of it.
Gotcha. So help me out here. Is the fight happening? Because last I heard it was scheduled, but people were trying to get streaming rights for it or something like that. But From what you're saying, it almost sounds like it was gonna happen and now it's not gonna happen. Mm-hmm. So what's up with that?
I think it might have. I was on Ralph's earlier. Hang on, Failure. Move along, buddy. Go watch my stream. Watch if you're interested. Nick, if you're interested, watch the stream. Oh, you're watching the one, the newest one from today, right? Called Failure and Tonka Snakes.
I was watching the
watch
call.
that. Watch that. You want to hear from the entire explanation of everything. It's deep lore. I can't just tell you a few things and you know it. It's 5 hours stream. It's actually hilarious too. I ended up yelling at Tara La Rosa and I planning to fight with her. And Medicare's like, is Andy accepting of?
Oh, your mic just crapped out on you, buddy. So I'll fill the airwaves. Guys, let me clarify a few things here. Andy is not my client. There's no legal representation happening here. I'm analyzing the situation in a hypothetical interview to see if there's some sort of legal claim. Actually, from what I'm getting, from what Andy is being very candid and telling me, I'm highly doubtful that there's much he would be able to do in this situation from a legal perspective. That doesn't mean I'm going to just end the conversation because I think there's plenty more for Andy and I to talk about that are other interests of mine. And while I've got him, I'm gonna abuse that and talk to him because I think he's an interesting guy. I am not opposed to talking to people like Failure or Tonka about this. Like I said, I'm not representing anybody here. So, But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to have Andy on today and then have another guest on after he leaves with this idea that.
Sorry about that, man.
Yeah, no
my
worries.
internet just conked out. But,
Okay, give me just a second. I was just saying something. What I'm not going to do is have Andy on and then have Andy leave and have someone else come in and talk about him without a chance to respond on this show. So I would be happy to talk to Failure or Tonka about their side of the story at some point in the future. We can arrange that in DMs or something. But for now, I'm going to talk to Andy about his story here. We're going to talk about this, see if there's any sort of legal stuff that may be interesting to talk about, and then talk about what he's doing, outside of just internet drama. We'll talk about that because I like to talk to people who are creating. So go ahead, buddy.
I just want to say, he think I slandered him. Watch that 6-hour stream. Everyone agrees that he is a liar. He lied to me. He lied to my face. That was a lie. Tara La Rosa said you lied. You added stipulations that weren't actually in there. You are a snake, Failure. And from what I hear, what you did behind my back, you are a terrible friend and a terrible person. So I'm done with you. I gave him so many chances. I gave him so many chances. Sorry.
So Failure is saying he'll come on the stream with you. I don't know if you're interested in that.
Tomorrow I'm going to move on, and I'm ready for I'm actually going to start training after my show tomorrow. I'm not going to talk about Tonka anymore or Failure. From what I've seen enough that they are dead to me, except for Tonka, because he's trying to claim that I want to back out of the fight. I really want to fight him. I really, January 19th, I will be there. I am there. I start training tomorrow with my buddies, doing mixed martial arts, and then I have some days with a weight training, jiu-jitsu, and other stuff, and boxing. So, Failure, not interested. Everything, you've lied so many times that I can't be in the same room as you and feel comfortable, because you hang out with someone who tried to ruin my life. That's not a friend. Okay, that's not a friend.
Sure. Okay, so you are my guest, and if you are not interested in that, then we will not do that. Like I said, Failure, if you want to come tell your side of the story, talk to me in DMs on Twitter, and we can arrange something like that. I'm open to it. But we're going to move on and talk about, like I said, Andy's my guest, and we're going to treat him that way. So if you have personal issues with him, you'll have to take that up in a different forum than here.
Okay. I'll just one more thing.
Sure.
I felt that Tonka and Failure were trying to scam me out of money. This was basically from circumstantial evidence, because basically all that money was going to go to a promoter, right? A certain promoter, and Failure said that was Tonka's promoter. And I'm like, wait, he gets the gate sales, my super chats, he gets this, he gets that. I'm like, where does that all go? So I assumed that they were trying to just, split it with Tonka and the promoter. But then it turns out he lied about all that stuff. So his lie actually made it seem like he was scamming. And the truth was, Tonka didn't know the promoter. So he messed up his words that made it seem like he was, and it was cleared up. Okay. But they were trying to make me go, like, just fed up and go, oh, okay, I don't want to fight Tonka. That's it. All right. I addressed it, Failure. All right, let's move on, because I have nothing else to say about that.
Yeah, let's we don't have to, we certainly don't have to dwell on that. Like I said, you're my guest, so we can.
I've been doing it for 6 hours today. Like, just
yeah. All right. So so what I was saying, your internet cut out, and so I was filling the air. Looking at what you've told me so far, I don't really see like a legal case being a super effective way to go about this. I think you've probably come to that conclusion that the legal avenue, one, it's expensive. Two, it's going to be very difficult because you're a public figure. Three, it looks like there's some questions about what Tonka may have actually known. At this point, you don't seem to have evidence to prove that he knew they were false. You just have evidence that maybe he didn't do what we would consider due diligence, and that's not the same thing, right?
Exactly. And basically, in this type of situation, it's sort of like I have to defend myself. It stinks. I understand that. But it's sort of like I've honestly the past 2 weeks have smacked him down every day, and I go, Tonka, he's like beating up a drunk guy and trying to walk away. He stands up and he's like, wait, hang on, the fight's not over. And you're like, come on, man, I don't want to beat you up anymore. So basically my thing is just leave me alone now, because he keeps. So here's the thing is with the fight, I accepted immediately. Yes. And then he changes the thing, and he changes to the point where I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, oh, look, Andy's being a coward. And then I have to go, okay, fine. And then I do, he's very good at like digging into you like mentally and manipulating you into a way of making you. I get angry pretty easily. So he makes me so angry that I feel like I have to do it. But now, this is why I can't talk to failure or him. I'm done with them because it's just constant manipulation. I want to hang with people who are chill, who are cool. Like, my buddies now that I'm working with are freaking awesome. And we're having a lot more fun shows. Tonka being in my life right now is just so stressful. It's like being with a really terrible girlfriend who's who's destroying your like brain from the inside. And every time he's in my, I've had shows not about drama, about sort of like, deep dives into companies or into channels, really fun stuff. And he's just the background of his channel, just trying to trigger it. And I was ignoring him for a long time, but then when he used that disgusting stuff, I had to defend myself and my honor. So now I have at least destroyed him enough, or destroyed his credibility enough, that he's gone. Tonka, walk that way, and I'll meet you back on January 19th, and we'll settle it like men.
Well, there you go. If you're done with the Tonka failure Kraut drama starting tomorrow, you said, right?
Yeah.
Let's start that now. Well, I mean, you don't have to outside of this interview, but I'm saying, sure. Like, I don't want to sit here and make you talk about something if you're basically done talking about it.
Do you have any other questions about it, or because there are other people now? Like there's people who I've done my part. I've exposed that server. I've gotten a ton of information that I've passed on to people who have more of a vested interest in it, not myself. I have defended myself over those allegations. I have found out who were the people who are betraying me or untrustworthy or running these crazy little. I want people to just be honest with me. And now I'm going to move on. But there is a group of YouTubers at the moment still investigating what Tonka did, what Sargon's possible input has been. And there's a lot of stuff out there. That people haven't seen yet, but it's being compiled right now.
Yeah, well, so my channel is focused kind of on legal topics. So I'm certainly interested in a lot of the kind of goss and the drama that's going on. And I definitely want to finish up the stream with the phone call and stuff like that. But if you're not really interested in talking about that, I'd like to talk about some other stuff that kind of meshes with the themes of my channel. If you'd be willing. But if you have anything else to say about it, I'm certainly there. But like I said, my main interest was because I thought Tonka knew that these things were fake and was distributing them anyway, and that you had evidence of that. And that's just because, you know, the game of telephone, you kind of get this building story that's not really accurate. So I'm glad that you came and cleared that up. So
Yes.
I don't see much of a legal aspect to this. I love that in the pure theme of the internet that you guys are right now, it looks like gonna fight it out, and I really hope it happens, because that is the funniest possible outcome.
Yeah, he's from like, I hadn't been on Twitter in a while. Apparently he was flagged down, and there were some people like, Andy, it was you. Yeah, because I wouldn't flag down him calling me a pedophile. I want him to be on Twitter. I'm actually sad. I want a line of communication with him. Like, see, these people are like, oh, Andy, he did it. Why would I risk my I want him to be on Twitter. I actually enjoy when he's on Twitter. Like, I'm sad that whoever flagged him down, like, I don't know why he did that. Maybe he went a little bit crazy or something and threatened someone. Or I can see him doing that. But it was funny seeing his posts, because I was able to quote tweet them and just destroy him. So that's fun. I don't flag people. Like, I'll only flag someone down if they're threatening me, like, in a horrific way, or something like I'm going to find you, and something like that's like scary. But Tonka never pushed it to that level.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this is, like, I see the Twitter. Real quick, Cormoran earlier said super chat drink, and now he says, because there's a drinking game on my show where anytime a super chat comes in, the audience is supposed to drink, so that by the end they actually think I'm interesting. Cormoran also says, skin flints, I got to make super chats so I can drink. So there you go. Yeah. So what's interesting about this, though, is, like, if you're just a passive observer like I've been so far, it would seem like you are out there trying to take down Tonka in any way possible, that you're trying to paint him as the worst person in the world. But here you are talking to me, and you're saying you're not sure that he actually knew that you were that these screenshots were fake. You're not flagging him. You're not out to destroy his Twitter or anything like that, because you want to be able to communicate with them. And
I'm fine. As long as it's done, like, I think what he did was like a low blow on the pedophile stuff. But again, the people were like, well, Tonka's not smart enough to use After Effects. I'm not saying it was him. It wasn't him at all. Okay, he's the one who took that, and it was funny because all the people on that server who wanted to go after me, Kraut, Shirai, all those guys, Wasley, they're all the ones who posted that, right? So it was going around those circles. I think I'll say personal opinion on Tonka, I think he's just unhinged, and I want him to leave me alone, except for like on January 19th. But that's it.
Right.
No more, because he is so untalented that he needs drama, his personal drama, to fuel his show. So when I stop talking about him, his show's going to go back to the 1 hour of dead air in between. Nope. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm sad about failure, though. Like, honestly, he was my friend. The fact that he lied about, or I could say this, maybe Tonka lied to failure and convinced failure that that's what the promoter said. That's always a possibility. I didn't think of that. But so there's that possibility, but it doesn't, the way failure sort of was reacting and the way Tonka sort of opens his mouth, I can see failure trying to band-aid the situation. Because Tonka has never offered out a fight and someone agreed. So I think he was taken aback to it.
Sure.
I agreed to it, and the next day he's like, "You're a coward." I'm like, "I said I agree. I'm down." So I'm like, he's delusional. He's caught up in his own lies, and he's drowning, and he's just flapping his arms, trying to just stay up above water. And now I have some great shows lined up that are outside of Tonka. and I can't wait because they're gonna be fun as hell. And I think I've finally done enough damage to his credibility that was not false, that was all true, that I exposed, that he better lay off. I swear to God. If another fake thing comes out about me and people believe it, you're idiots. That's all I can say.
Okay, so can I do something weird here? Can I pitch a show idea to you and get some feedback on it? I mean, this is strange, but here we are. So I've been wanting to do a show called I don't know, like Redemption Arc or something like that, where I want.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is because here's like I said, my channel's law themed, and so that a lot of people, you know, think of lawyer and they think of lawsuit and they think of suing people and all that stuff. But a lot of what I actually do in my actual practice is advise people on making wise business decisions or wise decisions in general, strategizing, planning for the future and stuff like that. So I want to do this show called Redemption Arc. And what that is where there's someone who's been maybe discredited online, or they went through some sort of personal issue that caused them to go off or whatever. And then they want to come back. I mean, shockingly, it's got some similarities to your story here. And that's what made me think of it. But, you know, you went away from the internet for a while, like you came back and you say you want to do a different style of content than what you're doing. And so what I want to do is a show called Redemption Arc, where someone comes on and they talk about kind of what happened that led up to them going out very candidly. And then they talk about their plans for the future. So the hypothetical would be like Mundane Matt comes on here and talks about how he was lifting all these boulders and he threw out his back and he was just unable to get online for a while. Or, you know, I'm joking, but you know, Matt comes out and talks about his flagging campaign or something like that, for example. And then he talks about, you know, the new direction he wants to take, and he kind of pitches it to an audience who wants to listen. Do you have any sort of feedback on that type of show? I think there's a place for that type of show in the current YouTube climate, where we've got people, you know, popping off of YouTube for a while, resetting, and then coming back. Kind of what you did.
I love that idea. I love, yeah, everyone's is calling me because, you know, me, yeah, I went a bit crazy, but now when you look back at it, I wasn't crazy, but I was acting crazy because it's like everyone's looking at you like you're lying and you're like, I swear to God. But yeah, that's a great idea. They always call me Andy Redemption Ski.
Now I've heard you called Andy Race Warski.
Yes, and the race war as well. Yes, and I think Tonka is the first to set off the real race war. So. I'm just kidding. You're like, do I go to the?
Well, okay. So, want to be the test case? We'll spend a little time, and right now talk about kind of like what brought you off the internet very candidly. Talk about any sort of stuff, and then kind of then let's promote your new sort of show. You said like tomorrow, assuming there's no more fake drama stuff coming out, that you want to shift gears away from this drama with Tonka, away from the drama with Failure and Kraut and all these guys. And
I'm done with them.
So let's briefly kind of recap. I mean, we kind of did earlier, but let's recap kind of what drove you off the internet. Like, if you'd be willing, I'd love it if you talk about anything that you reflect back on and you see like mistakes that you made or bad avenues you went down, and then talk about what the future holds. If you'd be willing to do that, I'd be really appreciative. I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, sure. Do you mind if I just use the washroom real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna grab a beer as well, and I'll sit down and I'll be back in like 5 minutes, okay?
Yeah, I'm like 2 whiskeys deep, so you got to catch up.
Perfect. I have to have a smoke too. I hate thinking after. It's just like I want to like think about where did it start?
Yeah, man.
I swear, whenever I had first smoke too, I swear I'd come back and like say I need an idea or a topic, like outside for some reason, being outside and like, having that air, you're able to like, I can organize everything perfectly. And this seems a little bit more intense, and I have to just go back to the whole JF and Split and I. And it's a lot of pressure sometimes, and the room is really hot. Anyway, I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah, man.
All right, man.
Sounds good. Thanks. Okay, so while Andy is gone, let me hit a couple of these super chats real quick. And I appreciate every super chat, of course. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And I will also answer some questions in the chat. Baron Nathan Dean says, does bigger super chat means bigger drinks? Sloshed stream, here we come. It sure can, buddy. Barry Blutnick, Barry Blutunic says, Lex prays upside down to a bat. I have no idea what that means, but I'll take it. And if that's something I'm supposed to say to Andy, just at me in the chat and let me know that, because I'm not down on whatever the backstory on that is. Stephen Miller says, bring on Cecil. Is Cecil in the chat? I don't think so. I've talked to Cecil about doing a whiskey stream. And so I would love to do a Cecil whiskey review. So that's coming in the future at some point, where we sit around, drink whiskey, and make fun of something. I don't know what yet, but we'll do it. Opus Day says, Nick, perhaps you could do redemption arc in the form of an Internet People's Court, Judge Rackets. I do kind of want to do that. Redemption arc, in my mind, is not for resolving a dispute. It's for moving on. It's for the mundane Matt coming out and saying, look, I flagged a bunch of stuff. It's the venue for like Sargon when he said he was done with internet politics for a while and he was going to go back and do some stuff. And it's I don't know that lasted or not. Sargon's supposed to be on my show, by the way. He has agreed on the Dick Masterson show, and I'll hold him mildly accountable. But he has not responded to my email. So I'm going to have to follow up with him and see if he'll come on. But he's not on for a redemption arc or anything like that. I just want to talk to him about the various legal stuff involving his transition into politics and stuff like that. But I actually do think a people's court, an internet people's court, would be hilarious with Judge Rackets, and I would be willing to get like a stupid Judge Dredd mask or something to run the show. I think that'd be funny and campy, and we could do like one of those every couple months and let people come and hash out their stuff. It's something I've considered. But Redemption Arc, I want it to just be me and the creator, because guys, I am fascinated. I am fascinated by the idea of internet creation, internet creativity, building shows, building audiences, sowing the seeds of credibility to people. And I mean, selling your own personality. I'm mildly selfishly interested because I want to learn from people who have bigger channels than I do, how they do that. That's one thing. But the other thing is I want the world to see the business venture that is YouTube, that is public persona, in a way we've never seen it before. Public persona has always been behind a gate. I mean, sure, you can have enigmatic people come out and really... wait a minute. Hold on. Yellow Flash Comics said something. I'll get to you in a second, Yellow Flash. Yeah, you can have people who are just absolutely magnetic, and of course you're going to find a way to them, but it's always taken some sort of place and luck and everything to get that person into Hollywood or Broadway or music or whatever it is. We don't need that anymore. We can connect to people who are massively entertaining, who are charismatic, who are magnetic to audiences. And you can get that content delivered straight to you, and people can support them directly. That's what I want to talk about with more and more people who have successfully done that, because I find it interesting. I think other people would find it interesting as well. Okay, so next we've got Psychotic Cognition 100. Hey, Rekieta, I'm a fan. I love Andy Warski, but are you going to have Tonka Saw, to get his side? I am not opposed to that at all. I'm not opposed. If Tonka wants to come on, I will talk to him. Sure, absolutely. Especially if he has something legally involved here. I'm there, like I'm an outsider observing, and I just find this stuff interesting. So, Steven Severin says redemption arc for Maddox. Oh, buddy, you're reading my mind. Wouldn't it be great to have Maddox on my show to talk about how he's going to recover his ridiculously toileted career? I think that'd be great, and I would love it. I still don't hate Maddox. Yellow Flash Comics says, I would love to come on and drink and make fun of stuff with you two. Oh, that's in regards to Cecil. Yeah, Yellow Flash, I'm fully open to that, buddy. I'm fully open to that. And I'm open to, while Andy's not here, what I'll talk about is kind of the future of this channel. Because this channel, Failure asked if I streamed every day. I stream currently about 4 days a week. That will hopefully be expanding, but I'm also still a lawyer with cases that I really hate but take a lot of time. And I'm trying to eliminate those and really cut down my caseload and do this more. Because shockingly, this is more fun than filing paperwork. So yeah, Failure, eventually I will be streaming 5 to 6 days a week as opposed to 4. I also like to release 1 or 2 non-stream videos a week because I find that non-stream videos can really grow a channel. And I'm still down in the low subscriber range compared to guys like Andy and Jim and stuff like that. So, if you guys help out with that, more streaming, of course, can come. But oh, hey, welcome back, buddy. But I will be changing this channel from strictly law themed to kind of focusing on creation and business and stuff like that, in addition to the law stuff. So that's kind of coming down the pipe as well. Cormoran says, "Let's all talk behind Andy's back while he's gone."
Sure.
All right, so if you can help me out, and let me tell you what I've heard, because the rumor mill, I think, is a good place to kind of set the bar, and then you can kind of clarify things and stuff like that, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so what I heard is that you were a live streaming guy on YouTube. You're involved in this internet blood sports sort of thing. And then I heard, and again, all rumors, so I'm not casting aspersions, but I heard that you got heavy into stuff like cocaine and kind of ran into a wall and stuff like that. So help me out with this. Help me
heavy into cocaine. There was I went to LA. I did coke there. I party once in a while. And
now, was that with Baked Alaska?
It was at like a party. I'm not gonna say.
Okay. No worries. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. But I like a party once in a while. But the whole joke is, like, I'm always on coke. Like that's the joke, right? Which was funny because they were Tonka was like, "Oh yeah, I bet you can't pass a drug test." I'm like, "I'll do one. I'll do one. Like, right? Like I don't care. I will do a drug test." And like, "You do one as well." And he's like, I'm like,
I was going to ask that question. Is so if you guys are doing an official fight, like, there's going to be drug testing, right? Like there'll be the whole.
Not in that state. That he chose that state in particular because there is no drug. It's where is it again?
Is it Florida or
no, not Florida. Sorry. Oh my gosh, it's in my mind. Can someone?
Is it Alabama?
Yeah, no.
Kentucky. Yeah, it's somewhere in the southeast, right?
And oh my gosh, damn it! Hang on, sorry. Someone in the chat. No one in the chat. All right. Nashville.
Oh, Tennessee.
Tennessee is one of the states that is has very loose laws. All you need is a blood test to see if you
Okay.
have HIV, or so. My prediction is because a lot of people say that Tonka stopped wrestling because he got a really bad neck injury and he
Sure.
can't really pass any, physicals to fight, which is why he picked that state in particular. Because it's not so they're in Florida, but it's a 7-hour drive to get there, right?
Now
Why wouldn't we just do it in Florida,
I
right?
heard Tonka was in Alabama.
That's wrong.
Okay. Did he
Yeah.
used to live in Alabama or something?
Maybe.
Okay. So I wasn't sure because, and again, I'm coming into this. So I was, but he is in Florida. You hashtag can confirm.
Yeah, you could search his name on Google and everything pops up. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. So
Mhm.
you're
Yeah, yeah.
saying Tennessee then is like a 7-hour drive from Florida, which I know this because I drove from Nashville to what Legoland with my kids earlier this year. It was a nightmare.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how I knew the 7-hour drive thing. And from what I know he smokes a lot of weed, and weed stays in your system between 30 and 60 days, depending on how much you smoke it in your blood.
Right.
Uh,
Stays in your
so
testicles if you're a man.
that's why I was telling him, you get a, I want you to get a drug test. And he's like, well, I want to see your drug. I want to see your drug test. Why would he ask me for a drug test if he was already bringing up that state and he already knew the wrestling laws? He just wanted to expose that I'm a druggie, which is not true. The whole heavily into cocaine. That is hilarious. That's like
Well, but
so I'm like, I'll go to a drug test, tomorrow. I don't give a shit because I drink beer. I used to smoke weed. I don't smoke weed since I've been doing the whole new cycle of my show because it makes me lazy and tired, and I don't do. I'm not at the energetic level, and I haven't smoked weed to the like enough to the point recently that I don't fiend it anymore. The whole coke thing. I was in LA. Who doesn't?
but
If you don't do coke when you're in LA, you're a fucking loser.
but
Sorry,
that
sorry.
but no,
I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding.
that's how the internet goes though, right? Because like I drink on my show, right, and I'll have a couple fine whiskeys, but outside of my show, I don't drink that much because I'm driving a family around all the time. I really don't have the ability to drink outside of the show, but a lot of people think that I'm like perpetually intoxicated, which is funny. I don't care. It makes me laugh, but yeah. So it's funny that like I heard that you were heavily into coke because you were in LA,
Who
and
told you that?
no, it was just kind of there's no specific person, but it's just kind of like this idea. It's like, oh yeah, that Andy Warski guy, yeah, he got way too into coke and then hit a wall.
No, that's so funny. No, what I did was when that came out, when Baked Alaska told people I did that, it was either be embarrassed by it, or what I did was Photoshop, or I found someone memed. They put a Photoshop of my face on Tony Montana with all the coke on the table, and I made that my thumbnail on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, and I always joke about it. I'm like, I'll say things that imply coke because it's funny because it's a meme. My dad
Right.
actually asked me, he's like, did
Well,
you do coke all the time? I'm like, no, Dad, it's a joke. He's like, why don't you tell people it's not a joke? I'm like, because it's funny. Who cares? And if
well,
they
and
believe it, I don't care. And I don't judge people who do drugs anyway. I don't care.
yeah, well, and you could spend your entire life defending it, or you can just roll with it because
Or do it, right?
yeah, or and that as a lawyer, I have to advise strongly against doing cocaine. Not a good plan.
Unless no one will find out, right?
Well, I
I'm
can't say that, but
I know.
wink, wink. Oh, hey, real quick before we go on, if you're gonna be in Nashville, you gotta, if you like whiskey at all, if you like whiskey even a little bit, you gotta go to this place called the Peg Leg Porker. It's a barbecue place in Nashville. Their food is very good. You'll like it. Trust me. If you like, if you're a man and you like meat, you'll like it. But get some of their bourbon. They do an in-house bourbon. It's called the Peg Leg Porker. I recommend it to everybody who's in Nashville because it's fantastic. So
yeah, and I'm still going there regardless if Tonka is going or not. I think Ralph and I and Geek Thulu, who's a good friend of mine actually. So yeah, we're all gonna still go there and hang out, film some stuff, do some shows there, meet some people, and we might even, if Tonka doesn't want to fight, I'm trying to look for someone in my weight class to have a fight with because it'd be fun. Even if it's not.
Why do all that training for nothing?
And also it might become something that would be like a regular thing that we could, because like it's something just to have a reason to go out and have a good time that's not just sitting in a bar, right? And more something of a presentation.
Yeah, make a show. Make it a show. Yeah, and actually, I wonder what YouTube would do with that if you were like live streaming fights, allowing super chat commentary. I can imagine two things. One, either you'll make $1 million doing it, or two, YouTube will shut it down immediately, which would be ridiculous because they run UFC clips and stuff like that.
I think if it's sanctioned and it's legal, it's fine. I think if it's like, if you're throwing up like, and then you have like those, World Star Hip Hop fight, it might get inappropriate content, like over age 18. That's probably the worst that would happen.
Yeah, but if you're doing it live, then who cares? Because you could do it live, get the super chats, and then the stream's demonetized, and that pretty much just happens if you do anything at all edgy on YouTube today. Your stream's just gonna get demonetized constantly. But so how big are you then? So you said maybe find someone else in your weight class. What weight would you be fighting at?
Well, I'm 5'11", 160 right now, but after some bulking and working out harder, I could probably by January hit 170, 175, depending on how much calories I'm able to intake.
Sure, I'm 6'2", 175. You want to fight me?
Done. Let's do it.
So how big is Tonka then? Because you said he used to do like pro wrestling type stuff. So
he said he was 6'2", 190. We actually heard he apparently he confirmed he was 5'8", 100 and I think 160, 170. Apparently he's a lot. Some people say he's fat now, or some people say he's really skinny. But he's out of shape, definitely. That's why he's trying to avoid the fight.
But so he's like a normal size guy, though. He's not like a steroid infested mutant.
Yeah. He I don't know, but I just think he knows he's not ready to fight, but he talks a lot of smack, so he thinks he could, or he thinks he could scare someone enough. He's offered 80 fights out there, and everyone's always said no, and I'm the first one to be like, all right, let's go, yeah, let's do it. And he's like, all right, well, he has all those stipulations to sort of make it so annoying to the point where you're like, fine, I don't want to do it. And then he's like, see, I win 205-0.
Sure.
So yeah,
sure.
Yeah, it's I'm not even being cocky with it too. Like, I mean, I used to work out way more heavily now, not really but I'm ready to do some massive training, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do that regardless if I'm going to fight or not.
Yeah, that's what you do for a fight. So you don't die. That's the point. So if you guys are going to fight, I mean, I would say Tonka should probably start working on getting the game going. So Cormoran says fighting is fun. It's like golf, but for men. I agree. I love fighting. My buddies and I used to do a fight club before I went to college. We actually did a fight club in college. I've done jiu-jitsu and kung fu and all sorts of stupid stuff. I'm not saying that makes me a good fighter. I really don't think so at all that stuff does. I think that stuff is helpful just in general, like body control and discipline and stuff like that. Because everything does change the moment you get hit. Tranquil Blue says, your thoughts on JP Rice whiskeys. Suntory Harmony equals. I've had the Hibiki Suntory whiskey. Very good. I haven't had a lot of them. And Philip Stahl says, can you hate Maddox for $5? Are you familiar with Maddox, Andy?
Yeah, I know that whole story with Maddox and
and
it was like 30 million?
20 million. Yeah.
20 million ish. hey, by the way, I was gonna say I actually had something to do in about 10-15.
Oh yeah.
I would love to jump back on and we could do like a whole stream about that, like that's specifically on the fall and rise and the fall and rise.
Well, yeah,
and
let's do that.
I don't want to rush it. Like if I only have like 10 minutes, I would definitely like to plan that. We can plan it for like an hour, 2 hour stream if you're down, man.
Yeah, 100%. So here's what we'll do. Let's talk in DMs. Let's schedule that stream, and we'll make it the premiere episode of the Redemption Arc series.
So why don't you hop on my show whenever you're down? We have like a really long show, so you should hop on, man, and then like hop on for even a small segment. You can explain like some stuff. We'll have some fun, and then you promote the time of your show and get some people watching the first episode, man. Let's talk about that. Like
that sounds great.
As soon as possible too, because you know how YouTube stuff works. Yeah, we should do that tomorrow, and then
and then everything happens.
4 months later, you aren't even friends, and you're trying to fight each other in Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
man.
let's do that. And then we'll work that out, and then I'll pop on your show, and then we'll do that.
Mate. Yeah, man, let's do that. So let's talk after you're done your stream, like on DMs.
Yeah, man. Okay, so since we've got just a couple minutes left, then let's do what do you want to do? Should we make fun of somebody, or let's make fun of Maddox?
Yeah. Oh my!
Because you covered Maddox and Blair White's stream, right?
Yeah. So basically, what I was where the connection between those two went was she basically did this this video that she's leaving the political commentary community because there's a lot of fake people in there, but she won't tell us who it is. So it was like this virtue signaling, like, look at me, I'm better than these guys, but I'm gonna let you not know who these frauds are, even though I could expose them right now. So it's sort of like this, it's sort of like, it just didn't hit me well. And I don't care about getting her fans disliking me. Like, I don't care about dislikes anymore. Now it's just, what do I want to do? Let's do it. And if you want to prove me wrong, you prove me wrong, right? So then she ended up going on a stream with Maddox, who's supposed to be this edgy free speech guy who's now suing Dick Masterson for I think it was like 30 million. And their episode together was, is it possible to be authentic on YouTube? I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect. Two of the most fake pieces of garbage about being real on YouTube. Oh, it was so funny. You can even tell the panic in his voice. Like, hey guys, you could tell. Oh my, he had like 70 viewers on that one, like watching live. And this guy used to be like Maddox.X mission. I grew up on this humor.
Me too.
I grew up on it.
Man. I've got his stupid book right here.
Oh, really? You have
Look at
book?
this.
Yeah. How old is that book?
I bought this probably 2008, I would say.
Oh, damn. Nice. Yeah, man.
But I mean, I was looking at his stupid website back in like 99 when I was in high school and stuff. And he was this funny guy. He had hundreds of thousands of unique visitors to his website, never monetized it. And then he was doing his YouTube channel, which was like every video he would put out would get hundreds of thousands of views. Some I think maybe have cracked 1 million. And then he just goes and flushes it. And now like he's on him and Blair White, two massive internet personalities on the same stream, 80 viewers. It's embarrassing. Like, what the hell happened?
Oh my! Even at my lowest, it was still like 200. Like, come on! And think about what they've accomplished. And you like your channel, like, okay, how many subs do you have? You have 11K.
Yeah.
together combined, they've got I don't even know the number, but it's probably like 700. I'm just talking out my ass. You know what I mean?
It's huge. Yeah.
70 people. How do you not just go, all right, just shut it down. Everyone just unplug everything, like bring it back to Amazon, see if we can sell it. Wow. And I don't know. We were trying to watch it. Dick Masterson was on my show. We're trying to watch it. And it's just this lack of self-awareness. I'm not saying I'm the funniest person in the world, but I'm very aware when I stink. And they're stinking and they're not going like Geek he'll say a bad joke and I'll be like, don't ever speak again. So it's just funny.
Please stop. Please stop.
You know I say a lot of bad jokes too, but it's just awareness of like no one will laugh and I go, okay, well, no one. All right, cool. Like, but they're like, oh my God. And it's just garbage. That's amazing. Did you look deep into that case, right?
Oh, dude, I've done I think 60 hours of content. No. So here's my backstory on the YouTube thing. I'm sitting on my couch in November of last year, and I'm watching TV with my wife, and then the lawsuit complaint drops. I see Asterios tweet it out, and then someone's like, oh my God, this is filed in New York so we can see it. And I pull up this document. It's like 50 pages. I read 10 pages in, and it's the dumbest legal document I've ever read in my entire life. And so I figure immediately that Maddox wrote it, because Maddox has this history of thinking that he's better than experts at whatever he does. And it's kind of like endearing for a while, and then it gets irritating. So I'm like,
yeah. I'm like, he's big, well, you know, I know he's a scientist, but and you're like, what? Like, go on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I read like 10 minutes and I'm like, okay, what I'm going to do for the Dick Show fan group on Facebook is I'll just record me getting drunk on whiskey and reading this document and explaining the law behind it. So I do that, and people end up really responding well. And they're like, you should do this all the time in all sorts of cases. So I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. So that's how my YouTube channel started. And but I've done probably 60 hours of content on that case. We covered pretty much every document to drop in it. So if you, I'm deeply into the lore on the Maddox versus Dick lawsuit, and laughed the entire time, because pretty much everything I said in my opening 2 or 3 videos was, you know, what happened. Like, it was going to get dismissed. And I'm not saying I'm like special or had some super knowledge. It was just so badly done that it had to turn out that way.
Yeah. Actually, see, are you so modest about that? When I like exposed everything the other day, I went, I am God. See, I did it. No, you stink. Everyone, like, I was just so happy. But yeah, you're being very modest about it. Yeah,
I've spent my time being smug as well.
Yeah, it feels good. You're like, you know what? Like, no, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, sure, you're dumber than me, but I know it's cool.
But yeah, so like, I don't know. What do you think of this guy? Like, because I don't hate him. I don't hate Maddox. I really do. I would love to see him on redemption arc, but I don't know if he's got a plan.
Here's the thing is, sometimes people, it's like when you're caught in a lie and you're just too proud of just going, here's everything, I suck, I'm gonna step back now and sort of like reevaluate and jump back in, right? They sort of like plow through. You can't plow, like, when you mess up. I'm sure, come on, like he's not a dumb guy. I'm sure he had this emotional reaction. He did it, and now he's way too far in the hole to like admit that he was wrong. Because then that means he's admitting to like months and months and months of being wrong. But
yeah,
like
11 months.
Obviously what he did, I would never do. Most people wouldn't do because they're not crazy. But Dick Masterson, you know, I think he told me the story was he saw what we call Maddox's ex-girlfriend at a wedding and took her home and had sex with her. So I could see like that seething rage. And he's like, you know what? And then but then it hit a point where he's like, shit, I shouldn't have done that. Damn it, damn it, damn it. But now he's too far in the hole. Either that, or he is really just non-self-aware and dumb. Yeah, either or.
Well, I start to wonder. I start to wonder if he is. But like it's all about, it's all about having a plan. Like you can move past stuff, you can do a pivot, and you can shift to different content, and maybe that's what he wants to do. And it seems like he did. It seems like Maddox wanted to move from being a guy who made jokes and did satire to a guy who discussed big ideas in an intellectual way. And I mean, for whatever, it's hard to say what his ability to do that would be, because I've never seen him be effectively intellectual, but I also don't know if I've ever seen him actually try to do it, to be fair. But he could at least try it. I just don't think. I think he got, like you said, I think he got hung up on the emotion, and now he's like so invested, and maybe that's combined with some level of autism that he's just stuck on.
Yeah. There's that, like, also those people there is also those people who start lying, and then there's a certain point where they forget where the lie began and ended, and sort of it blends with the truth. I had a friend like that. He used to we drink one night, and then he would tell a story the next week, and it's like, oh, we didn't drink a 26, we drank a 40. And, like, and then by in 3 years we're in college, and he's like, yeah, so that night we drank like 2 26ers, we had 5 joints, we did, and I'm like standing beside, I'm sitting beside him like, dude, I was there. But he believed it. And I could see someone like Maddox or Tonka sort of like I don't know what level it takes for them to break through and have the clarity. Maybe it's humbleness, man. It's the clarity, you have to sometimes, like I used to, when I did stand up in the early days, like in clubs and shit, I thought I was amazing. And I got like angry and then one day this clarity, I'm like, it was just sort of, it was Opie and Anthony, Howard Stern, Opie and Anthony, yep, where they would be self-aware when they sucked. And then that sort of opened up this like, oh yeah, I do suck at this one joke, or I suck at this, or suck at that. And then you use that. Being real is what's funny. When you're trying to like create and sort of, tinker what the truth is, it becomes this, you don't have the real passion for it, and people feel that.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, I think there's a couple aspects to that, and we'll have to wrap up because I know you got to go. But the couple aspects of that is, one, you got to know, like you said, you got to know when you suck.
Yeah.
But you also got to be okay with it. You got to say, you know what, like it's okay to have an off night or an off subject or an off thing. I've done videos, I know, where I have not wanted to do the subject. Like I've not wanted to cover it. And it's like, why am I doing this subject? And it messes with you. But it's also, you got to be okay and say, you know what, like if this is the thing that I'm not okay with, and all of my other stuff I am, like that's fine. What do I learn from this? But the other thing, oh damn it, now I'm gonna lose. I lost it.
But I can add to your point there. I can add to your point with that. For example, with the anti-SJW videos, I got so bored of it, but that's all I knew how to do at that moment. So I would keep doing it, and that's not what you want to talk about. That's not the truth of what you want to create. But you're scared to venture off, and it is scary because you've gotten subscribers who are used to you doing that content, and the shifting is scary. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I mean, and the social justice crowd, they keep finding ways to become interesting to make fun of, but at the same time, like there was a really long stretch between Gamergate, for example, and then now it's Comicsgate, which is kind of new. And I know you did a stream with like Cecil, and you kind of got exposed to what was going on with comics.
Yeah, and I was exposed today on a project I'm working on, actually.
Yes, It's absolutely nuts, man.
Yeah. No, I have a project I'm working with those guys, a few of the artists there, and Tonka saw. Decided I'm gonna release this. He admitted, he goes, that's the spoiler, and I'm like, I phone Geek and I'm like, all right, let's do it. If you just shut his mouth, just it takes one sentence, and I'm like, all right, 5 hour stream, you ready? Yeah.
All right, man.
I like that stuff though. I like they do the evolving that subject is fantastic, and I am willing to jump back into it once in a while when it is interesting. Because
right,
yeah, exactly.
And,
yeah, man, it's a lot of fun, dude. A lot of fun talking to you. Like I it sucks. I have to, but like,
no
let's
worries.
talk, man. And as soon as possible, man, let's have you on the show, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do that.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, and for everyone watching. Oh, by the way, it was really funny about the compulsive liar thing. Someone in your comments wrote, I had yeah, here it is. Macu Bentel says, I had a buddy that was a compulsive liar. Funny enough, his initials were BS. That's great. All right, thanks for having me on, bud.
Yeah,
I'll DM you later, right?
Sounds good. Have a good night.
Right,
thanks.
Bye, everyone. Later.
All right. So Andy has left. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. Hopefully that kind of cleared it up. Just in summary, like I said, I really don't think at this point, based on the evidence that he's presented, that there's any legal issue or legal avenue for him. So I guess in the theme of the interview, if Andy were to come into my office and lay out the same case, I would say, you know what, buddy, you'd be throwing good money after bad. You don't want to hire me for this. You really probably don't want to hire anyone. You're welcome to get a second opinion, and certainly go talk to another lawyer. Maybe I'm just an idiot and you want to talk to them. But there's no reason to take a guy like that's money based on what he's got. Now, he could always come up with something in the future that showed that Tonka knew or whatever, some direct statements from him. But even that, it's going to be a tough case. It's going to be a tough case. And so, but you know, I don't think I need to tell Andy that. It seems like he knows it, which is kind of interesting. That he seems plenty aware of that. Now what he's doing is he's got this fight. Hopefully they'll do that, because you always want the fist fight that is promised to happen. If anybody promises a fist fight, the best possible result is that the fist fight occurs and you get to watch. So we'll see if that happens. But yeah, I think I'm really happy to have Andy on the show, and I think the interview was very interesting for me. I hope you guys found it interesting. Look, I know there's a couple people out there who were in the chat. I don't know if they still are, that are on Tonka's side, on Failure's side. I will happily talk to them, guys. I like talking to anybody who can provide some interesting content that is somehow legally, tangentially related, at least. And hopefully we can learn something about what it is to be on the internet in 2018 as a business, because that is fascinating to me, which is the most boring sentence I may have ever uttered, but I can't get away from how interested I am in how all of these people do this. And I'm watching myself do it too, so it's kind of cool. So anyway, barring any final stuff, let's see, Lydia, I haven't listened to Dick's bonus episode yet. I want to find time, but man, it is hard to find hours to stream all this, or to listen to the streams of everybody I want to follow, plus produce content. So it's on my list, but I haven't done it yet. I know I missed a super chat from Philip Stahl. He said Maddox Hart's tube steak smothered in boxers. Gross. I missed one from Stephen Miller. Said, if you guys really wanted to fight, why were y'all talking about regulations and blood tests? And I think that Andy kind of covered that. Yes. I don't know. I don't know if he did or not. I feel like he did, though. Psychotic Cognition 100 said, Andy, it's not about being big. It's about technique. Go to a professional gym and get training, please. Sorry I missed that while he was still on the show. hate breaking up the flow of a conversation for super chats too much. But then he had to go, so I wasn't able to get that to him. Scottius Maximus first says, I'm not the pheasant plucker. I'm the pheasant plucker's mate. I'm only plucking pheasants because the pheasant plucker's late. Good try, buddy. I will. Oh, he mentioned me on the show, Lydia. That's hilarious. I'll have to check it out. Philip Stahl says, can I get my super chat read? Also, Rackets is the best. I did. I just read your super chat when you sent that. So thank you so much for sending another one. But yes, I had already read it before you sent that. All right. And yes, Tess, I am doing a show almost every day because this is the most fun work I've done in my entire life. Guys, I don't know if I can express how much of a dream it has been and how thankful I am to all of you and to anyone else who may watch this later, that I get to, for a living, talk to interesting people and interact with an audience. Like, honestly, if you would have asked me what my dream job was while I was working in a bank, hating every minute of my life, I would have said, if I could just sit down and talk to people and have conversations and get paid to do it, I would love it. This is what I've wanted to do for years and years and years. So hopefully, I can keep finding interesting people to talk to, and hopefully you guys find it interesting as well. So if you guys know anybody who is interesting to talk to, I'm open to do so. The hardest thing about my job, and the thing that you guys can help me the most with, is getting me in contact with these interesting people. I do a lot of networking on Twitter. I go onto other streams and ask people. That's how I got Andy to come on the show. I went on his stream and asked him to come on the show. If you guys have lines to people that you want me to interview, put me in touch with them. If they're interesting, I would love to talk to them. Especially if they have some sort of legal story, present or past. I've had people message me about some of their past legal things, and I, some of them will probably blow your mind, and we're working on getting those people on the show as well. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up for the night. It is 1:07 a.m. where I am. I've been streaming for about 2 hours. Thank you so much for joining me and your continued support, viewership, super chats, Patreon, all of that stuff. I can't express enough how thankful I am. So, thank you so much. And we'll see you tomorrow. Oh, if you're still here, tomorrow is a huge show, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's a huge show. We will have Stephen Birch, my favorite intellectual property attorney. We will have Grand Admiral C. I'll leave himself to dox his own name, but he is a lawyer in Michigan. And me. And we will be drinking whiskey. We will be talking about the Discord terms of service. We will be talking about YouTube taking super chats. And then finally, we will have an open Q&A time where you can ask a legal question and get a free legal advice clinic sort of answer, where it's a high-level legal answer that always will end with, you need to talk to an attorney in your jurisdiction. But we can give you ideas about how the law works around certain issues. So if you guys have legal questions, if your friends have legal questions, that should be a really cool thing. And it's another one of, I have so many show ideas to do recurring shows because I want to be able to fill a week of content every week. And so some of these shows will be weekly, bi-weekly, and stuff like that. I want to have a lawyer panel with a rotating group of practicing attorneys to come on and just take questions from people in the same way that Comicsgate does a show with comics creators. I want to do a show with lawyers. we'll come on, we'll have fun, we'll make fun of like various topics or cases du jour. But we will also be available for an audience to come in and ask just any questions. And then, of course, if one of the lawyers is in your jurisdiction and can actually potentially take the case, you will certainly be able to talk to them and get contact info from them. Otherwise, if none of the present lawyers are in your jurisdiction, talk to me. I might know lawyers. I'm trying to build a network of lawyers in all 50 states to take referrals from me. Because the bigger my channel gets, the more referrals I get per week. And if you're a lawyer out there or you know a lawyer out there, get them in contact with me, because I have work coming in to this show that I would love to give to people, because I can't do it. I'm not licensed in the states or those states. I'm licensed in my state only, and I don't have time. So if you're a lawyer, or if you know a lawyer who would want to be part of a nationwide network of attorneys to get referrals from a show with an active audience of people who run into legal issues, because everybody runs into legal issues at some point, please get in contact with me. All right, guys. All right. Thank you so much. Now I'm regretting burning my super chat budget on a Warski joke. Doug, DM me, buddy. DM me, buddy. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. I will talk to you all tomorrow if you're able to make it. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Peace. Boomer hour. Let me blank this out.